we are having a conversation amongst ourselves.
Happy Tuesday.
And realized it's already 7:02.
Oh my, we've lost
Oh, goodness. So
track of time.
we lost track of time for 2 full minutes.
Oh, we're fashionably late.
But yeah, and we had a fashionably good time at it.
We did. We really
But
did.
yeah, we definitely had some interesting things going on this week. Starting off, and we're going to probably do a show about this, but we had a client who sent us an, well, it's not a Ouija.
Well, it is, but
It is.
well, it's a spirit board.
It's a spirit board.
It's got what is the Mystic Soothsayer?
Yes.
That's the name of the board, yeah.
And thank you, Mark, for helping take care of that this weekend while I was
You're
out
welcome.
of town, because that thing had some horrible energy attached to it, and it is now mellowed out.
Melissa says hi. Hello.
Hello, Melissa. We will talk to you. We'll bring you in very shortly. Hello, Rita.
Hello, hello.
So, but tonight we're not going to talk about no Ouija boards. We're going to do that another night. Tonight we're going to talk about.
Yay.
Oh, what did I do to my screen?
Oh, you just pulled your cord.
Oh, I see. So tonight we're going to talk about the old hotel. Here, as a matter of fact, I have. This is what it used to be. We got this at the place. It used to be called the Lakes Inn.
Did we? Do we have an old picture of what it used to be before that? Here it is.
Yeah, we have other pictures of it
And
we can show
on top
you.
of that,
Look at this. Here it is.
it used to be the Rainbow Inn. There's a. Oh shoot, it's hard to do. But look at that funky 1960s. Yeah, so the Rainbow Inn, all kinds of fun at the Rainbow Inn. Lovely pool,
Yeah.
shag carpeting.
And it was carpeted nicely.
Yeah, look at that.
I tell you what, I like the place.
I did too.
But by the time we found it, this place is abandoned for several years. Several years. It had slowly got into disarray. You know, some kids got into it.
Some people probably squatting.
Yep, squatters. The local emergency teams were in there, practicing on taking
Kicking
doors down.
Yeah.
I mean,
impressive.
a lot of stuff going on at this place behind the scenes. Even when it's abandoned, there's different things going on. They did their best to keep it lock and key, but we got permission, and we had help from the one person that's going to be on tonight
She's
to
gonna be our
show,
guest tonight, yeah.
Melissa. Hey, let's try to track her down right now.
All right.
Melissa, where you at?
She can request it, and we can just.
Yes, if you can, hit your request button, and then we'll... Hello, Wanda Paul? I never know. Is it Wanda, or is it Paul, or is it both? We'll find out. Here. She says here. Oh, yes. Tammy was at this one. And this was exciting. We had the van parked outside the front door of this giant hotel. Well, pretty good-sized hotel.
Pretty good size, yeah.
And we had 2 teams. The NOPS team was with us.
Yep.
And we did a heck of an investigation. We had a lot of investigators there, I think. But we went there ahead of time, too.
I was going to say, Melissa, put a request in. You should be able to... Hey,
Hello, Jill. So, yeah, as soon as we see your request, we will receive it.
Because it's not... Oh, they're both here, Wanda and Paul.
Oh, nice.
Because we can't invite you on right now, it looks like.
Yeah, it should pop up in the notes if you show up as an invite. But anyway, so we're at this hotel. It's been abandoned for years. And we went in and it was was it March?
It was.
And it was absolutely freezing.
It was. The pool was frozen.
The pool was froze solid because there was a leak in the roof and had been dripping in there for years. So the pool was full and it was solid frozen, and it was weird because there was stuff thrown in it.
Like TVs.
TVs,
You know
chairs.
what? We've got pictures, but not handy. But it seriously looked like as you're walking around the pool that something should bust out of the ice and just kill
You just expected
just murder you. It was terrible.
a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was all brown water. It was a horrible room to be in. And one of the stories was that a child had almost drowned in the whirlpool tub.
Or did, because there was
Almost
a little girl
did.
they saw. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was another story too.
I'm getting it mixed up. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
there was a father with his son in the whirlpool. They were sitting there together. The kids probably be bopping around, toddler age, and the mother's sitting in a chair nearby. And suddenly, there is a moment where, kind of the time and space, the guy said, "I could not move. I was seeing something pull my son under the water in the whirlpool,
Scary.
and I could not move an inch to do anything about it." The mother's sitting in a chair, watching initially with a smile on her face, and realizes what's going on, and instant terror, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up having to run over there and save her son because the father was frozen in place, couldn't move.
Right.
That is a frightening story to me.
It is. It is.
And so that story and several other stories brought us. I mean, heads up, the place is since torn down. It's gone. I think everybody's glad it's gone. But one thing we wanted to do, because we knew there was an array of unusual activity, entities, who knows what was all going on there, because that place had history going way back.
It did. Well, in fact, we went upstairs, and there was an apartment up there. It was pretty neat. It had fireplace. It had the wood paneling.
I'm going to see if I can find.
Decorated from the 1960s or whatever, 50s,
Right.
40s. But it was the older part of the building. So they built around this old business. And I don't know why it's not showing up.
All right. I'm going to look like I'm really looking weird, but I'm trying to get our guest online. So I'm going to let Mark talk a little bit. Hello, Hannah. Hello, Pam.
So we did some messing around in there. We got into the apartment, found out there was another area, kind of an attic-y space.
Mm-hmm.
A basement that we couldn't get into the first time. Yeah, it was pretty neat. And so they built this hotel around with 2 wings, and I guess it was a pretty popular place for a long time.
Yeah. But it started out, I mean, it was like a house there.
Anything out of these guys?
I'm trying to get there. You want to work on it a little bit?
I'll try it. Yeah.
I'll talk for a little bit.
We'll
We'll
try,
take
Melissa.
turns. Melissa, we are trying very hard to figure out how to get you on. It's up and down. But anyway, so it starts out as a house. Probably a very small establishment many, many, many years ago. And that house was at least 40s, maybe, I would say, if not earlier, much earlier. And this house is at the original foundation of this hotel and bar. The house is still there. They just kept building around it.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, on the first floor, you couldn't even tell. The bar was right below it.
Yeah.
and-
So if you went up into the upstairs where we went, and you could actually step in to the house that was from the early 1900s. And the old window was there, though it looked right into a wall. But that was just crazy. It was just an old house that was in the center of this newer style hotel, bar, grill. And next to that was a 1970s apartment that was built above the bar restaurant, because I know wasn't it a Chinese bar for a while?
I think so.
Chinese
Back in the
restaurant,
day. Yeah, and then
different
they had an
things.
apartment. Yeah, the
There-
apartment was remodeled, and
Speaking of that, the basement had numerous rooms that were fenced in with chicken wire. And I don't know about you, but it kind of smelled a little bit. And we had a sneaking suspicion that the chickens, probably for the meals, were being raised in that basement.
yeah,
I'm not kidding.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Absolutely. So that was going on. The pool room was in dire straits. Some of the rooms that had leaks on the roofs, literally what we called grass, growing. It was moss, right? Growing from the floor up like stalactites or something.
Yeah.
It was really, really unusual. What is interactivity? Does anybody know how? Hello, Steph.
Hi, Steph.
We are having such a time.
I worked with Steph last time.
I know, but she popped herself on.
Okay, Melissa's calling. I'm going to answer real quick.
Okay, so you're going to take that call.
Hello.
We're having trouble getting our guest on, but we are talking about a old hotel, La Prairie, right by Grand Rapids, Minnesota. The hotel's gone, and we went there just to see, because there was some stories, some local stories about the apartment upstairs had, when the bands would come, the bands would hang out in this upstairs apartment, and they said, "Whoa, that apartment is weird," and so that and the different stories, the story about the child that was pulled under the water in the whirlpool, this. We decided we wanted to see if we could get in there, cross over some spirits, clear some energy, and we knew it was getting torn down, and we wanted to take care of this before it was torn down. Because otherwise, not only now, who knows where these spirits all end up, somebody's home. But, and this is not uncommon. Search for Spirits has been at numerous buildings that have been torn down now, and in a lot of cases they call us and say, "Hey, we always thought this place had some activity. Will you clear it before we tear it to the ground?" And we more than welcome those calls.
Well, and even standing buildings will do.
Standing buildings that are abandoned, buildings that are going to be purchased by somebody for a new business. We come in and help cleanse the place. Yeah, just numerous. But
so if you want, we can bring her on with the speaker.
Okay.
I've got her on the line right now.
Now she said, is anybody else having trouble hearing us? Melissa said she can't hear us.
That's probably because you're on your phone.
Probably.
Okay, so where's the microphone?
Okay, the microphone is right there.
Okay. All right, here's Melissa on speakerphone since we can't get her.
Couldn't we put her on your phone? On Facebook Face?
Well, it wouldn't work on mine because we're on your.
Oh, I suppose.
Melissa, say hi. See if that works.
Hey, guys.
Hey, well, we are super bumming that we cannot figure out how to get you on here. And
I am super bumming, too. I even switched to my computer.
Oh. I don't even have a button that says, ta-da. And that's bumming me. But, hey, you're on there. As long as you're on there, we'll have you tell one of your stories to kick this off here. And as long as we got you on here, while you're talking, I'm going to keep looking, okay?
All right. Well, what do you, we talked about a few of them, Russ. Which one do you think I should talk about first?
Well, I think you should talk about the one where we played the music. Now, I have to apologize. I looked for that clip and I didn't quite find it. But it's a great story, and I think you should talk about it.
All right. So we were doing, this was during the investigation. I not only investigate, but I'm also a paranormal DJ. I DJ.
Hey, I like that. Paranormal right? DJ.
You never know, right? So anyways, I decided, hey, I used to do karaoke there. Let's bring in some of the music that we used to either sing or that Bob would play for us. So I brought in a disc, had some music on it, and I was one that I used to sing Jose Cuervo. So
give us a little tiny bit of Jose Cuervo.
No, I'm not going to. Not tonight.
Sad face. If I could do a sad face, I'd do one.
So I can't do it a cappella. Sorry. So I was sitting there, and I put the record on, and I stepped away from it, and next thing you know, it stops. And I'm thinking, okay, I didn't do that. I didn't shut it off. Well, later on in the night, we decided let's try it again. And I had a guest with me at that time, and her and I were out on the dance floor, and we were doing the Cupid Shuffle, which is another dance that we used to always do.
I don't even know if I've heard of that one, the Cupid Shuffle.
Well, Russ all of a sudden says, all right, let's stop the music. I'm walking towards the CD player, and it stops. And somebody had said, we had a spirit box going, and somebody had said, who shut the CD player off? And I can't remember if it says I did or if there was a name that said, like, somebody else did it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was two different instances where this music shut off. Now, I did go home that night or the next morning. I tested the CD. CD played all the way through.
Right.
It never stopped on me.
Yeah, we talked about that. I'm like, we have to double check and we could not get that audio to stop like that, to cut like that, but 2 times. That's insane. I don't know why I'm looking up at the sky like you're up there somewhere.
She is. She's
Melissa!
up on the ceiling.
Hey! Come on down. Join us. All right.
Right.
Well, that's it. Next time you just have to drive down here, I guess.
Yeah.
But, so, hey, that was a great story about, and that was in this large bar. I mean, this bar is big, and the apartment's on top of it. And it's a very big bar.
Huge.
And there's big meeting rooms and stuff. I mean, huge fireplaces.
It was a neat place. It really was.
Second sad face of the night, because I'm mad because they had to tear that place down. That was really nice.
It's so sad when you go by it now and it's not even there.
Yeah.
There was so much history there. But I'll tell you what, and Tammy said, hey, crank out some EVPs. And you know what? We have some EVPs.
We got some good ones.
Yeah, let's play a couple. What do you think, Melissa?
I think that'd be great. Let's do it.
All right. Now, this one is when we are just kind of starting and we're talking about where should we go. And I'm going to go from like the hardest to hear ones to the best. So I'm going to save the best for last. So you better hang on to the end. Here we go. It says, check the apartment. And that one is probably what I think is probably one of the rougher ones to hear. But while we're talking about where to go, it says check the apartment.
And we found it soon after.
And we did.
We did.
This is kind of a neat one. This is Mark starts out talking, and we're talking about the apartment. It says, how is it? Has anybody lived up here?
Something like that.
And a guy says, I hated it. But this one's a little bit soft, so.
So somebody lived up here. Yeah. So somebody lived up here. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when we just got in the apartment.
Yep, we just got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end, unfortunately, I hated it is kind of soft. Mark and I now can hear plain as day. But unfortunately, by the time it gets all the way up into the audio world, this one just says the cigarettes. And that's not uncommon for responses that people that have died that were that smoked are still looking for cigarettes.
I thought he sounded drunk too.
That could be.
He slurred.
That could be. Now we're taking it up a notch. This is a guy who we're in the middle of a conversation, and we're talking about probably releasing spirits and stuff. And he says, who's collecting whom? Who's collecting whom? So, yeah, they're not easy to see, and that's what generally spirit voices are not very easy to hear. But we're going to get to better and better ones as we go here. So the next one is, this is a bundle of people. I hear Melisa chattering it up in there. A few people are talking, but mixed in, all these voices, we're all talking. You hear a man say, I murdered my wife. I'm going to play that again because I didn't have the volume that loud. I'm going to play it again. So it sounds pretty clear to us. Could you hear that, Melisa?
Very little.
What?
Yeah.
That's a real good one.
I'm still trying to get in on your live. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Did anybody else hear that one? I tell you, like I say, there's a lot of talking, but it was right over the top. All right, now this one is a younger fella, and I don't know what happened, but he says goldfish pond. And I just have a feeling that this kid died perhaps in a goldfish pond. So, goldfish pond. Now, and it's hard to tell how old he is in specific. Mark's gonna go work with Tammy, and we're still working on trying to get Melisa on. Doing everything we can. There she is.
Talking at the bottom of this.
Is there a button that looks like this?
Melisa, you on there?
Yeah.
I think you have to.
Oh, you're talking about
Well,
me?
she can invite herself in, and
Yeah,
we
but I
can
think
invite
you might
her.
have to do that first, and then once you hit add.
Da. Yeah, I don't know. And the other two guests we had, they just had a button on their phone. It was right on the main page, and they clicked it. It might be different phones are different. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks really different.
Yeah. But, so anyway, we're going to keep on rolling here. Thank you,
Keep
Tammy.
on.
Tammy tried to help. We didn't quite get it figured out.
Our tech support.
Tech support was in. So, all right, now, so that was Goldfish Pond. And, did anybody hear the Goldfish Pond? Can anybody respond? Did you hear it? That's getting a little bit better. I mean, that one is really clear on our end.
It is.
And it seems like, I bet you could probably hear it. Depends upon what types of devices you're using, etc. But nobody's talking. Hello! Are you out there? I see there's 12 people on right now. 12 people watching. We're going to get to the best ones of all coming up next. This next one, actually we're down to the last two. Thank you, Sue. This one is a chilling singing voice. It sounds like a female voice, but she's singing the words. And she's singing, "What About Us?" Thank you, Gina. This is kind of a heartbreaker for me. And this is really why Mark and I do what we do. Because the majority, I would say, a very high majority of the souls that we work with, they want to go.
All right.
You know, they're looking, they feel stuck.
Bored.
Yeah, they want out. And here's an example of that. That's very interesting. What about us? And that's what it's all about. Hello, Eva. And all right, it's at about 7:28. Let's pull the grand finale of EVPs. Now, this one is a much longer one. It's a little bubbly voiced at first, but I think you can still hear it. A guy says the vault is known as a trap. The vault is known as a trap. And then he says, "Come on, Eddie," like he's leading him away from the trap. And then after that, one lone voice says, "Help!" How you doing, Melissa?
I'm doing.
You're doing. I know you. I can hear the disappointment in your voice. I just don't. I just don't know what else to look at to find a way to get you in on here.
I don't either. It's just a good thing I got Mark's number.
Right, right.
And then I was paying attention.
So here's the grand finale EVP. I'm going to play this like 50 times. Nah, just a couple, but it's really awesome. That's scary.
Maybe they got stuck in the trap before. It's like, the vault's known as a trap. Come on, Eddie. And then they get sucked right into the trap.
Yeah. And the reality is, they talked about a vault a time or two, enough to make us feel necessary to go back a third time. So after we went there for an initial investigation, then we went and did the actual investigation, and then we went back a third time, and we were given the okay to get aggressive with the building. Crowbars. Hammers. And stuff. And we kind of went a little heavy on the building because at that point they pretty much knew it was getting tore down. And so we went back a third time looking for this old vault that we felt was in there. Now we found a couple like small vaults, but the one I think we were looking for was an old one. And somebody probably found it when it probably just ended up in the trash and out of the dump, and that's the way it was. Nobody ever thought nothing about it. Probably had $5 million in gold in it.
It did. We know it.
And we missed out. We couldn't find it.
Liars.
Something was in there, don't you think? You came along. You thought something was in there. Right?
Yeah, but there was no money.
We didn't find the money. We didn't find nothing. But hey, that's a crazy EVP. That'll probably make our top 10 sometime. If the beginning part of it was a little bit clearer.
Oh, so much better even.
But someday we're going to find somebody that is an expert at audio.
I have one.
Oh, you have one?
But,
I keep getting names, but when it comes down to it, nothing gets accomplished.
This one, she does, like, music scores and stuff.
Okay.
But, I mean, she wouldn't do our normal work for us.
Right,
unless
right.
I can get really in. You know, it's hard to say.
Right.
But it's a thought.
Yeah. So anyway, if you know anybody out there down the line that is really good with audio and has some good equipment, feel free to send us a little message.
Yep.
Because
then we can sort out the noise, the trash.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody could clean these up and make several of these Class A. Now, Melissa, during the pre-investigation, you had an experience upstairs, didn't you?
I did.
And this was kind of a frightening experience. If
It was, but the more that I think about it, Russ, I actually feel more comfortable about it now.
To the left. Right there. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, so time has passed and you're braver now. But tell us, something happened to you there and it was quite uncomfortable to you.
It did. We were upstairs in the apartment complex, and we had just entered upstairs where the door is that leads down into, like, the bar and the hotel area.
Right.
And by that door, I didn't feel comfortable. Something wasn't right. And I walked around the apartment. Everything was fine. But then when I got back to that door again, Russ wanted to do an audio session. And as he's doing this audio session, I feel what feels like fingers on my throat. And I can feel the pressure squeezing on my throat. And it just next thing you know, I start coughing, I can't breathe, and Mark says, go, get out of here now.
Yep.
And so I ran downstairs, and it took all the way down to the basement before I was finally away from it.
Yes, Sue. Yeah, and like I say, and Sue asked, was this at the hotel? All of this was at that hotel that no longer exists.
Well, the EVPs, the store, yeah.
So,
everything.
but yeah, literally felt like something was choking you, and we had to get her out of the building, or at least out of that area.
Yeah.
And
it was strong up there.
The EVPs at the beginning, like I say, they're not all Class A. Class A and Class B we got here, mostly Class B, I suppose. But there was a ton of EVPs right when we started out, and they had a lot to say.
That's why it said about check the apartment.
Yeah. The other thing is, and this is something I don't talk to a lot, but the spirits utilize a terminology sometime. It's called eat. They use the word eat. And it means that they are we're like fresh meat, but we're not fresh meat. We're fresh energy to them. Nobody's been in this abandoned building, and the spirits that are in there have been starved of energy for a long time. And they're like, they actually use that term, eat. Let's eat. And they use up some of the energy, sometimes a lot of energy, sometimes in the process that, they make us nauseous, they make us feel exhausted, they eat up batteries.
Oh yeah.
But the whole choking thing, not nice. And we knew that there was potentially a bad energy, and we had a feeling it was in that area where Melissa had the old, and I wouldn't say, I would just say it was just a very mean, angry thing.
Yeah.
Mean, angry spirit that was just felt like it had its own place that it wanted to keep for itself.
Probably
or
said
whatever.
Out too.
Probably did.
Yeah, those.
Well, and guys, remember, that was our initial walkthrough. We hadn't even done the investigation yet. And I told Russ umpteen times, I'm not going upstairs. When we do this investigation, I am not going upstairs. I got the courage to go upstairs. I thought, you know what, nothing's going to scare me. This thing is not going to do whatever, it can do whatever it wants. I'm not going to be afraid.
And you didn't have trouble at the main investigation, did you?
Not that I can recall. Not
I don't remember either, so that was good. And I tell you, my most favorite, we're blowing our timeline for tonight. We're just going to keep rolling. I don't think it hurts anybody's feelings. My favorite was when we were all in the entryway outside the bar, and suddenly that entire entryway smelled like blooming flowers. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was the most, I've had it at a smaller level, but I've never had where that entire entryway smelled like flowers. It was amazing experience. to be there and to have that happen. And we gathered, the whole team gathered up in that spot, both teams, Knop's team, Search for Spirits. We're hanging out there, and we are just amazed. We just soaked it in, sniffed
I don't
it
even
in.
know what flower it was.
I don't remember what flower it is either. I bet when it happened, there was people probably throwing out suggestions.
Gardenia.
But it was awesome. So amidst all of the destruction, dilapidated, beat up, beat down place,
Creepy pools.
there was still
creepy hallways.
a lot of interesting stuff. We had meters
We had some
going
funny
off.
moments, too.
What was that?
We had funny moments too, like when I walked the hallway and hit the walls.
Yes, I had this brilliant idea. One of the hallways, the windows and all the rooms were mostly boarded up, and the one hallway was
dark.
pitch
Yep.
black. Pitch black. I mean, you couldn't see. So I walked down to the end in the dark, and I stuck a little tiny red light, and I had each of the investigators walk. And when I say hallway, this is like walking from, I mean, it was a double hallway. So there was a set of rooms in one building, a little doorway, and another set of rooms. And I mean, so it was long. I mean, I would say a football field and a half, maybe.
That was long. Yeah.
You think, Melissa, about a football field and a half?
I'd say about that, yeah.
And you had to
If
walk
not
that
longer in the pitch dark.
in the pitch dark, with nothing but one tiny little red light. And we got quite a few little tiny EVPs during that activity that we did. But it really was a wake-up call for some of the investigators that aren't used to being, because I didn't let them take no light. I said they had to do it in the dark. Even Tammy did. Yep. The glass litter box. Oh. Yeah, and people were bouncing kind of into the wall and stuff, and I mean, it was nuts. And it was an experience for everybody there. I've never experienced anything like that since we were at Pipestone.
Oh yeah.
Walking down that dark hallway.
Crazy.
Oh.
Creepy hallway. Yeah, it was good.
Sue says, I remember Mel saying, ow! Yes, Sue walked it too, that's right. Absolutely.
Sue even had a couple of experiences, if you don't mind me speaking about it.
I bet Sue doesn't care.
Her and I were walking the hallway by the swimming pool, and she said that she felt her jacket go up a couple of times.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, okay, you know, and Sue was a school teacher, so I'm sure they recognize her, and she also DJ'd there and sang there, and she happened to be wearing her DJ jacket, and during an audio session, they read her jacket.
That's right.
That's cool.
Oh, I mean,
It was a great experience for everybody, even if they weren't a part of the Search for Spirits or not.
yeah. It was a moment. And then that night, when we wrapped up and a bunch of us were standing outside, that was the night that 12 or 17 shoot through the sky, not the meteors, the satellites. That was at the time when those satellites were passing through. And a couple of us are standing there, and not only were the satellites passing through, but they had caught, like, something was reflecting them. So there was like 3 sets of them. So it looked like there was like 35 of these lights just zooming through the sky. That's the most amazing. I wanted it to be UFOs, but
Darn it.
it wasn't. We looked it up on. We finally found it online. Actually, Melissa, didn't you find it online for us?
I found it before that, and you're like, oh, it's a bunch of UFOs. I'm like, no, it's not. Sorry to say, it's satellites.
You kind of like blowing my bubble, don't you? Every time I get excited about a couple UFOs, you prove me wrong.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
It was broke, you know? It was, yeah.
Awesome. So
I think we should take this moment now to just talk about what's coming up.
we should.
You know, so
we should.
we do have an investigation coming up this weekend.
Yes, we're going to be in St. Paul, Minnesota.
That's right.
So we have a client down there who there was some history in the past with one of her special significant others, I think, was more on that side, that was involved in some occult. And that's the bad energy just won't go away.
Mm-hmm.
She's made some important changes in her life since we've communicated now, and things are getting better, but things are still tough. So we're going down to St. Paul.
Go give her a hand, yeah.
And then, now, and this is kind of up in the air. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be on the road for a while. I'm going to be traveling around, and we are going to do our best to be somewhere where we can do a live show in America. And Mark will be on the ground here setting this up, and I hope I can find the button on my phone. Otherwise, we really could be in trouble.
We'll work it out.
We'll figure it out. But I'm going to try to be someplace that has some historical or haunting, or it might even be a holy place. Some kind of place that we can talk about.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, and so we're going to do that. And that's going to be the 2 weeks after that, because we'll still be here on, so that starts on the 7th. So the next 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I'll be on the road, and Mark will be here, and it's going to be a good time. And then Mark and I will both be back in the office on the night of the 21st. That's the plan.
Right. Oh, and then, of course, the next week,
Right after I get back,
yeah, on Wednesday is the ghost tours at the Thayer again,
the 29th.
the 29th.
Put that on your calendar. The 29th of June, Ghost Tours, Thayer Hotel in Annandale. But before that, we have an investigation right here at home, so to
We
speak.
do, yeah, just
Right
next
here
community.
in the next community over, we have a case that night. So, and a couple more on the ringer, so to speak.
Right.
So, no slow-mo around here.
Nope.
But hey, we love it. We love communicating with you guys. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And,
Thanks for coming on, Melissa.
yep, we appreciate it,
I
Melissa.
apologize that it wasn't working right.
No worries.
No problem. Hey,
We'll get
Melissa,
started.
you have a good night.
You guys too?
And we're going to say goodbye to our audience as well. It is all the way out to 7:45.
Oh,
Woo! That's crazy. Lots to talk about. I mean, I could have talked for 2 hours on this one. I mean, there's just was so much.
yeah.
So much.
It was a neat place.
This is just a tiny little bit of the EVPs, tiny bit of the experiences. We could have got the Knops team on. But thanks everybody for watching. You have a great night.
Good night.
And we'll talk to you again soon. Ending live video.